Well, the day after John Boehner takes his presumptive role as House Speaker, the session will begin with the reading of the entire Constitution, believe it or not. He also has a new requirement. Every bill introduced must include a statement citing the constitutional authority to enact the proposal. Whew, sounds lengthy. This may be a good thing, since it's been said more people know The Simpsons than know the Constitution. Absolutely true. Time to let the Willis watchdogs out. Uri Man is a global market strategist and the host of Uri Man Review radio show in Florida. Andrea Tanteros is a Fox News contributor, and Fox Business's Ashley Webster also joins us. Uri, you know, if Congress can't read the bills they pass, can they read the Constitution, you think?
You know, that's a great question. I just want John Boehner to do his job. I think that he'll do a good job, but this reading of the Constitution to me just looks like political maneuvering and PR. I don't have time for it. The economy is in a very bad state. You know, the good news is that practically anybody would do a better job than Nancy Pelosi. I mean, with her ridiculously idiotic ideas and senseless, you know, disconnection from the economy. I'm just glad that somebody's taken over. And at this point, you know, I hope that he has the drive and the guts to really confront, you know, people in the House, the people who are left who seem to be clueless. But I think he will do a good job, and I'm confident.
Well, there's a lot to do, that's for sure, a long list of things. Okay, as Obama gets set to face a divided Congress, reports have the president doing some light reading over the holidays, Ronald Reagan's biography. He's apparently looking for guidance on how to push an agenda through these new set of circumstances. Ashley, Morning in America, what do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting because Obama has been a fan of Ronald Reagan, as stated on several occasions. They're both likable, they both communicate well, bipartisanship is going to be the key. But, you know, Reagan, when he had his shellacking, that's to quote President Obama, in his 82 midterms, he came back and got 49 out of 50 states in 84. I don't think the current president is going to be able to do that. He needs to have a broadly defined, a broader sense of where the economy should go, one that more people can understand.
Uri, do you agree?
Well, you know, I think the likability is questionable at this point, but it's really not fair to compare President Reagan to President Obama. Two different personalities, two completely different backgrounds, and most importantly, two different agendas. I mean, President Reagan was a true American patriot. He had a traditional capitalist American background, and, you know, he didn't have a socialist agenda. Here you have, you know, President Barack Obama surrounding himself by people who have the wrong agenda, who are clueless, who don't really understand how to fix the situation. On the other hand, you had President Reagan, who surrounded himself by some of the smartest people to really turn around the economy and focus on the right kind of politics. So it's just unfair in my mind, and I just don't think that President Obama will ever be remembered as a Reagan. If anything, maybe as a Carter, you know, as a failed presidency.
Well, you know, we talked about PR stunts earlier with the Republicans. I think this is a PR stunt on the part of Democrats. This morning, was watching another network, heard this story, Shop 2. I think they're trying to get out there and make the comparison. The Lincoln comparison clearly did not work for him. But look, if he's the new Reagan, then Perez Hilton is the new Sylvester Stallone. I agree with Uri. The comparison is way off. I mean, you look at Ronald Reagan, he slashed unemployment, he brought the job market back. President Obama is barely lifting this economy out of the gutter. Jobs are very slow to come back. He's leaving us with record deficits, record debt, and the potential for serious inflation. So I don't really see the comparison either.
Well, we may be very different in 2 years. It'll be interesting to see if the economy really pulls out of the gutter.
I hope so. You're right.
All right, let's move on. An investment by Goldman Sachs and a Russian investor of $500 million in Facebook is bumping the company's net worth to $50 billion. That's more than twice the market value of Yahoo. Mark Zuckerberg, though, still remains coy about a possible initial public offering. Uri, what do you make of this?
Well, you know, I'm a big fan of Facebook. I actually have a date with somebody that I met through Facebook this weekend. I got to tell you, though, this is this, you know, $50 billion valuation.
That Facebook.
The $50 billion valuation doesn't make sense to me. But I'll tell you one thing. What's interesting about this is, I mean, the Oscars are about, you know, 50 days away from now, and we just saw a movie come out that promotes this company. I think that Mr. Zuckerberg has looked at the market. He thinks there's going to be a correction in 2011, and I think he's going to take the company public sooner than everyone else thinks, and that basically allowing this special purpose vehicle to get set up by Goldman Sachs, he knows that, you know, the SEC is not going to like it, and they're going to say that's unfair of you because there's no transparency, and then he's going to have to take the company public. So I think that there's something behind this.
I want my own special purpose vehicle that would raise my valuation.
Like
How about you?
SUV?
No, I agree. And hey, Jerry, if this date works out for Uri and he finds the woman of his dreams, it won't be worth $50 billion. It'll be priceless, won't it?
That's true. That's true. You could say it's priceless.
Ashley?
No pressure. You know what? 50 billion. I mean, why not? They say this company can make $2 billion a year. He's going to be under a lot of pressure to go public this year. But it is the #1 visited website of 2010, beating even Google, which is remarkable.
That amazed me, that number.
Yeah.
All right, one more story. A dramatic year for bonds, thanks in large part to Fed programs, pushed down yields to levels not seen since the 1950s. Some are predicting 2011 will be just as eventful and could include higher interest rates, meaning higher inflation. Uri, what do you make of that?
You know, I think we've been living in an illusion. The Fed has been propping up the stock market and creating this low-interest environment for some time, and all of that is about to change. People are going to realize the U.S. Treasury is issuing securities and swapping them for municipal bonds, basically to help out these local governments, many of which are going to go default. I mean, I estimate in the next 12 to 24 months, we're going to see at least a dozen defaults by municipalities.
But any big
and that's
ones?
really
Uri, anybody big? Are you saying Chicago, Illinois? Who are you saying?
Well, here's the thing, Julie. They don't have to be really big, because what happens is, as soon as just a few of these default, all the bond paper prices will start falling, and that's going to have big impacts on banks' balance sheets. And when banks' balance sheets deteriorate even further in this shaky situation, then what happens is you have a real contraction of the economy. So we're looking at a possible disaster that's much worse than 2008, and it doesn't have to be a big name.
Well, on that very upbeat note, I'm afraid we have to leave it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Uri, Andrea, and Ashley. Great job, all.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we bailed them out with our taxpayer dollars, but now auto unions say they will be taking their business elsewhere. I'll give you my 2 cents more.